Hi, Assalamualaikum. So my group represent a nurturing and sustainable future, the vital roles of the United Nations of the global stage. So my name is Kranjas Mirabitizokipri. I will present the introduction first. In today, interpreting world challenges like climate change, poverty, conflict, and health crisis cannot be solved by one country alone. The United Nations, founded in 1945, plays a central role in promoting peace, development, and human rights through collective global action. The UN leads international responses by coordinating diplomatic efforts, launching peacekeeping missions, and supporting sustainable development in vulnerable regions. Through specialized agencies like UNDP, UNEP, and WHO, the UN addresses cross-border problems using a multi-sectoral and inclusive approach. So one of the key frameworks is the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which include 70 Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). This goal focus on reducing inequality, protecting the environment, and ensuring a better future for all. Although the UN faces criticism and challenges is value less in uniting countries, facilitating cooperation, and offering humanitarian solutions. Its future effectiveness depends on reforms, strong leadership, and continuous support from member states to fulfill its mission of peace and sustainability. So for the next part, I will explain the vital role of the United Nations in global governance. The core function United Nations, which have maintaining peace, protecting human rights, supporting development, and responding to humanitarian crises. For the first one is peace and security. The UN plays a central role in maintaining international peace and security. Through the Security Council, it can authorize peacekeeping missions, impose sanctions, and even approve the use of force when global stability is threatened. A good example is the UN mission in South Sudan. Protection of civilian sites that shelter over 200,000 displaced people, becoming one of the largest safe zones in recent UN history. This peacekeeping mission involved military, police, and civil experts, and often partner with regional groups for better coordination and credibility. The second role is human rights protection. The UN also promotes human rights through legal treaties and institutions like the Human Rights Council. This law ensures rights like education, free speech, and equal treatment are protected globally. For example, after the military coup in Myanmar, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights condemned the violence and began collecting evidence for legal action. The independent investigation mechanism ensures documentation of crimes like torture and unlawful detention for future justice. The third is sustainable development. The UN sees development as a global responsibility that balances economic, social, and environmental needs. Using research and data, it helps countries make a better long-term plans. For example, in Rwanda, the United Nations Development Programme help build inclusive governance, expand digital access, and create job opportunities. As a result, poverty fell from over 70% in the 1990s to around 38% by 2023, showing how sustainable strategy can drive real progress. Lastly, as a humanitarian response, beyond emergency, the UN provides a full framework for humanitarian response led by Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. It coordinates aid delivery, negotiates ceasefires, and manages legal access in conflict zones. For example, in Syria, the UN got Security Council approval to deliver food, water, and medicine, even in regions controlled by non-state groups. Tools like real-time data predictive modeling help shift from reaction to prevention, making aid more effective. The second one is United Nations and multilateral collaboration. I'll explain how the United Nations plays a central role in strengthening multilateralism, maintaining peace, setting international norms, and solving global problems through its driven cooperation. So the first one, UN as the platform for multilateralism. The UN institutionalized multilateral diplomacy through platforms like Geneva Assembly and Security Council, where member states negotiate based on shared laws and global values. Nation commits to equality, peaceful conflict resolution, and cooperation. For example, during the Libyan crisis in 2011, the Security Council passed Resolution 1973, allowing all necessary measures to protect civilians, including a no-fly zone, while NATO later actions were debated. The UN's swift authorization show how such a process enable lawful and timely action. The second one is peace and security through burden sharing. The UN promotes international peace not through force, but through burden sharing among nations, where your country contribute funding and technology, while many global south nations provide troops. An example is UNIFIL in Lebanon 2006, where over 1,000 peacekeepers from 14 plus countries, including Indonesia, France, and Ghana, works together. This multilateral approach makes the UN as a decentralized but cooperative peacekeeping system. The third one is norm entrepreneurship and agenda setting. The UN is also a global norm setter. It develops international expectations and values that influence behavior across borders. A clear example is the Paris Agreement on climate change. Rather than using force, the UN encouraged each country to set its own nationally determined contribution. This voluntary cooperative model shows how the UN can lead through dialogue and share goals. Non-governmental actors were also involved, increasing the legitimacy and reach of these norms. So for the last one is technical expertise and coordination. The UN specialized agencies such as the World Health Organization use scientific authority and neutrality to coordinate global action on complex issues. During the COVID-19 pandemic, WHO did not rely on enforcement but persuaded countries through data, guidance, and coordination. The COVAX initiative, which delivered over 1 billion vaccine doses, proved that technical cooperation and global solidarity can solve emergency effectively. So that's all from me. Thank you. I'll be passed for the next member.
Next, I will present about the United Nations Strategic Contribution to Sustainable Development. The United Nations (UN) leads global effort in sustainable development by promoting inclusive growth, environmental sustainability, and peaceful. Through international framework and global partnership, it supports countries in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) and shaping development beyond 2030. Next, Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). Agenda 2030, established in 2015, that is a global strategy adopted by all United Nations member states. It consists of 17 Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) and 169 targets aimed at ending poverty, reducing inequality, and protecting the planet. Agencies like UNDP support countries in aligning national plans with the SDGs, providing technical assistance, funding, and progress monitoring. Goals such as quality education (SDG 4) and gender equality (SDG 5) are championed by UNESCO. The UN emphasizes inclusivity, ensuring that even the most marginalized are not left behind. Next, climate action and environmental protection. The United Nations plays a leading role in global climate action through key agreements such as the UNFCCC and the Paris Agreement, which aim to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius and ideally 1.5 degrees Celsius. To support this, the UN facilitates scientific research and policy development through bodies like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC), which release key climate assessments such as the 6th Assessment Report. The UN Environment Programme (UNEP) leads effort in environmental protection, biodiversity, and sustainable resource management. To help developing countries, the UN mobilizes climate finance through the Green Climate Fund (GCF) and promotes technology transfer via the UNFCCC technology mechanism. However, many countries still face funding gaps and uneven outcome. Through the Climate Promise Initiative, UNDP helps countries strengthen their climate goals and integrate sustainability into their development plan. Global forums like the UN Climate Action Summit promote collaboration. The UN's holistic approach includes early action, adaptive capacity, and ecosystem resilience. One key initiative is the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021 until 2030, which connects biodiversity with climate resilience. Lastly, the Paris Agreement emphasized climate justice, calling for fairness and equity in all climate efforts. The UN's Unite approach strengthened international cooperation and global climate governance. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. Peace, justice, and strong institutions are the key pillar of Sustainable Development Goal 16, which calls for inclusive societies, equal access to justice, and accountable institutions at all levels. Without peace and good governance, development is unstable. The United Nations promote these principles through peacekeeping missions, conflict prevention, and post-conflict rebuilding. In places like UNIFIL in Lebanon and MINUSMA in Mali, UN peacekeepers help stabilize communities, protect civilians, and encourage political reconciliation. Beyond field missions, the UN works to uphold human rights and the rule of law. The Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights (OHCHR) monitors violations, supports legal reform, and helps build national human rights institutions. The UN also supports judicial reform and anti-corruption. Agencies like the UN Office on Drug and Crime (UNODC) assist government in improving justice system and strengthening governance. Another vital role in electoral assistance through the UN Electoral Assistance Division (UNEAD). The UN supports fair election and inclusive political process, especially in developing democracies. Overall, the UN's effort promote more resilient, fair, and sustainable societies by reinforcing trust, social unity, and the foundation of democracy.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noshada binti Amran, and today I'd like to talk about the key international bodies and their impacts and the important role they play in the promoting sustainable development around the world. So, first, the international community address the global challenges through the organization like the United Nations Development Program, like the United Nations Environment Program, like the United Nations International Children Emergency Funds. So each bodies play a vital role to promoting the social justice, environmental protection, and child welfare while working toward the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. So first let's start with the United Nations Development Program, or we call it as UNDP. As an example, UNDP act as like UN Global Network, UN Global Development Network. So it helps country to tackle the poverty, climate change, governing issue, and also to support economic empowerment. So it also helps to nation to create and implements development plans aligned with SDG and work in over 170 countries. So terrorist support based on the local needs. So UNDP also promotes inclusive and sustainable growth to support post-crisis recovery and also advocates for gender equality and marginalized group through the policy and legislation. So together, this organization take a balanced and collaborative approach to solving major global problem from the climate change from the climate change to the conflict and inequality. So they do they do and also they do the that by walking the cross-border with the cooperation and also share the goals. So next, we'll talk about UNEP. So UNEP was established in 1972 and the UN Main Environmental Authority. So it leads the global effort to fight climate change, to protect biodiversity and reduce pollution. So UNEP works with countries around the world to promote the eco-friendly laws, to improve waste management, and also to restore ecosystem. So it also play a key role in international agreements such as like the Paris Agreement and to contributes to the sustainable development goals, especially goals in on the climate action, life below water and life on land. So through specific wishes and strong partnership, UNEP promote the green technology, sustainable agriculture and also the nature-based solution. So next, for UNICEF was founded in 1946 to help the children affected by World War II, and today it operates in over 190 countries. So, UNICEF mission is to protect and support a children's health, education, safety, and well-being. So UNICEF also lead efforts in the child nutrition, immunization, and reducing child mortality, especially in low-income countries. So it also provide the emergency aids during the natural disaster and conflicts, and ensures the access to clean water and sanitation, and work to eliminate child abuse and trafficking. So UNICEF builds a safe learning environment, train teacher and supports education for especially for girls and children in crisis areas. So UNEP to protect the planet. So the UNICEF to protect our future generation. So for both this body together, it help to create a healthier and more sustainable world for all. Thank you.
Challenges and limitations faced by the UN is political and bureaucratic. Political interference among member states often leads to gridlock in UN decision-making, particularly in the Security Council, where veto power creates significant powers imbalance and hinder timely action on global crises. Bureaucratic inefficiency within the UN complicated its operation, resulting in slow response and reduced effectiveness, particularly during emergency, due to complex administrative processes and overlapping mandates. The second one is funding and resources issue. The UN reliance on member state contribution for funding leads to budget shortfalls and delay in critical initiatives when countries withhold payment due to political disagreement or economic issue. Resource constraint from insufficient funding undermine the UN operational capabilities, affecting peacekeeping mission and emergency response, and limiting the adoption of a new technology and practice.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Zuraika binti Azmi. My number matrix is 2023160535. Today, I will present two case recommendations to help the United Nations address global challenges more effectively. So the first one is the under enhancing international cooperation. So the UN needs to strengthen the global partnership through inclusive and transparent processes. So by reforming its system, the UN can act as a neutral platform for dialogue on important issues such as conflict, human rights, and also climate change. So the strengthening regional organization such as ASEAN and the African Union is also a crucial as they provide a faster and culturally relevant responses. In addition, cooperation must include civil society, health, and also the private sector to promote the innovative, community-driven solutions that support the sustainable development goals. For the second one is the promoting innovation and technology is essential. The UN must embrace digital tools like AI, big data, satellite imagery to improve monitoring, prediction, and also transparency. Collaboration with the startups, researchers, and institutions can generate solutions in health, education, and also clean energy. It's also important to promote digital inclusions, especially in rural and underserved areas, such as to bridge the digital divide and ensure all member states have equal access to progress. In short, both cooperation and innovation are vital to building a more sustainable and inclusive global future.
In summary, the United Nations play a crucial role in global governance by promoting peace, sustainable development, and international cooperation through key initiatives like the Sustainable Development Goals. Its specialized agencies such as UNDP, UNEP, and UNICEF have made a significant impact in areas like poverty reduction, environmental protection, and child welfare. However, the UN face challenges such as political conflict, bureaucratic hurdle, and limited funding, which hinder its effectiveness to remain relevant and impactful. The UN must strengthen international cooperation, embrace innovation, and secure consistent financial support to address global issues more efficiently.